Welcome to Hexagon Geospatial e-training. Our topic, generating buffer zones in GeoMedia. Buffer zones are constant or attribute-based user-defined regions around or within a feature class or query set. They are created in GeoMedia as queries and can be added to a GeoWorkspace as a legend entry. I'll start today with a GeoWorkspace open displaying data of Madison County, Alabama. This data includes street centers, address points, street casings, and parcels. In today's example, we'll use a buffer zone to determine the fire station coverage within the county. To see the fire stations, I'll start by adding a new feature class, Fire Stations, to the legend. To add the data, from the Legend group on the Home tab, I'll select Legend, Add Legend Entries. In the dialog, I'll expand Local Data, add a check mark next to Fire Stations, and click OK to add the data to the legend. Once the data is added, I'll right-click on the feature within the legend and select Legend Entry Properties. In the Properties box, I'll change the size to 2.5 and the color to red. I'll click to see the changes. This makes the fire stations easier to see in the map view. Now I'll create the buffer zones. I'll activate the Analysis tab, and from the Analytical group, I'll select Buffer Zone. This opens the Buffer Zone dialog box. I'll first use the pull-down menu for Buffer Zone Around to define the feature class to buffer. In this case, I'll expand Local Data and select Fire Stations. I'll leave the distance set to constant and define 2 miles as the buffer distance. Finally, I'll define a style. I'll use Light Coral and set the translucency to 75%, then click OK and OK to the Buffer Zone dialog. The buffer zones are added to the map window and the query has been added to the legend. In this example, the buffer zones are generated around each fire station without considering any overlap between the individual zones. In many cases, it's beneficial to merge the buffer zones and create a continuous perimeter around a feature class. I can easily modify this and other query properties by selecting Queries from the Attribute group on the Analysis tab. I'll select the query within the dialog box and open the query properties. Here I can change the buffer distance and select Merge Touching Buffer Zones. I'll click OK and close the query box. The changes to the buffer zones are immediately displayed in the map window. As you can see with the highlight color, merged buffers are now one single buffer zone region. Thank you for watching Hexagon Geospatial e-training. For more e-training, please visit hexagongeospatial.com/e-training.